imagination brings a smile up to my lips. Oh, fascinated, I'm moving fast. Oh, I'm optimistic as the days go past. Oh, opportunity is here for me, so come along and take a look because I want you to see. Yeah, the world is yours, look a little bit closer. If you want it, come and get it. You can take it over, you can make your tomorrows what you want them to be. You got the power in your hands to shape your history. We're going up, 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 and up, up, up. We're going up, 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 and up, up, up. We're going up.
Dr. M.G.R. Educational and Research Institute, University, Madurai, Chennai.
Fashion is what you are offered 4 times a year by designers, and style is what you choose. By Lauren Hutton. So starting with this quote, a very good afternoon to one and all present here. I hope everyone is safe and healthy. Well, I'm Nandini Kuti from Fashion Design Department, shall be the host for the day. So before we start with this event, let me introduce about the courses offered by our university. We offer BSc and MSc Fashion Design courses. Candidates who wish to be a part of our adventures do apply for the course on our website. For more updates, do follow our Instagram, Facebook page. It's my privilege to extend a warm welcome for the speaker of the day, Mr. John Guanis, international fashion designer from Philippines. May I now welcome upon Mr. N. Nadeem, Director of IOD, to deliver the welcome address.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to invite you all for this wonderful presentation. I express my gratitude to our beloved founder, Chancellor, A.C. Shanmugam sir, and our Honorable President, Engineer A.C.S. Arun Kumar sir, for encouraging and motivating us to conduct this program. I am very happy to welcome Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi, our beloved Vice Chancellor of our esteemed university. I also welcome our respected Dr. C.V. Palnivelu sir, our Registrar, and I am very much delighted to welcome Dr. S. Ramalingam, our Joint Registrar for Phase II campus, with Dr. S. Manivannan, Dean, Phase II campus, and who has been a guiding source to conduct these kind of programs. I also welcome Dr. Arunachalam, Deputy Dean Academics, and also Professor K. Sendil, Deputy Dean Administration, Phase II campus, for their valuable suggestions in making this program.
Thank you so much, sir. May I now welcome upon Head of the Fashion Design Department, Ms. M. Mahmooda Begum, to introduce about our chief guest.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I would like to welcome the speaker of today's webinar, Mr. John Guanis. He was a faculty at the La Salle College of St. Bendight. He is a designer, owner of John Guanis Atelier. He was also the host of Ganap TV online talk show and also the founder of Ganap magazine. He has participated in many fashion shows such as Fashion Week Brooklyn, La Fashion Awards, Dubai Fashion Weeks, Philippine Fashion Weeks, Manila Festival Fashion Week, as well as Designers Gala Fashion Week. He was a finalist and won Paris Young Designer Award. He was the best designer by Mass Media and Development and Progress. He was the winner of La Fashion Design Awards, runner-up in London Fashion Week, also achieved Best Plain Fashion Designer UK London, and he is Mr. R 2021 UK London. We are very proud in welcoming you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful introduction given by you. We welcome you, sir.
Hello everyone. I'm John Guarnes. I'm a fashion designer from the Philippines, and I would like to greet everyone a pleasant um, morning, evening, and afternoon around the world. So today I'll be speaking about fashion global. So this at this time, the world is under the situation we're into, situation that we are in the pandemic. So today I would like to share to you my knowledge about global fashion. So to begin with, I would like to show to you one of the video clips that I have. So while we're waiting for the show for the video, so again, I'm so honored to be part of this webinar, and I just to impart the knowledge and wisdom. Okay, isa. Yeah, palabas. Okay, there. Let's watch this video clips of my collection. Okay, so this is the show that you have seen is a clip from my collection in the Philippine Fashion Week 2020. So now we're talking about global fashion. So the spread of fashion across global cultures that mirror the changes in economy, culture, and daily life which globalization has brought. By studying the history and current trends in the fashion industry, it gained a better understanding of a complicated relationship that connects cultures and people in the modern world. So, as we all know, that global fashion evolution signifies larger global changes in the 1990s trends of Orientalism in Western fashion. Throughout the late 1980s and 1990s, fashion borrowed stylistic influences from Asian traditions. Some scholars believe that this trend was a result of the opening up of China in the early 1980s, as well as Hong Kong's separation from Great Britain in 1997. These events not only allowed for the easier diffusion of Chinese cultural traditions throughout the world, but also contributed to an accelerated sense of Chinese identity, as well as a confidence in that identity. As far as I remember during the time, during the 80s, I remember that the idea of globalization was already heard and known in the world. So, and then in the early until to the um, late 1990s, the China was the first one who opened the idea of globalizations because they already conquered the whole market by getting all manufacturers works all over the globe because of their cheap price ranges. Okay, so it's so important that we have to know that this is how globalization started in the world. So the globalized context of the information age and fashion weeks are also being born around the globe. The Mercedes-Benz Stylo Asia Fashion Week host shows rotated between in the countries of China, Korea, Japan, India, Hong Kong, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Vietnam. These fashion weeks do not only serve to celebrate local fashion designers, they also attract international buyers and journalists that push forward the globalization of the fashion industry. So I want to challenge all our Indian designers. So how would you consider your fashion? Okay, is India fashion global or not? So we have to understand that globalization and global fashion, it affects the whole entire world, and how we influence our designs and creativity the whole world by showcasing our creativity to the global market. So I'm asking all the Indian students and even all the people around the world. If you know, if you want to comment, is India fashion global or not? So if you want to comment, you just have to write down your comment below and answer if your India fashion global or not. So let's proceed to the effect of pandemic to global fashion. As we all know, a while ago we were discussing about this, and it's really affecting us, especially the industry of fashion. So we're doing so much so that we can able to cope up with the situation, but eventually nothing really it's really hard at this time. But now let's see. So the global fast fashion market is expected to decline from 35.8 billion in 2019 and to 31.4 billion dollars in 2020. The decline is mainly due to economic slowdown across countries owing to the COVID-19 outbreak and the measures to contain it. The market is then expected to recover and reach 38.21 billion in 2023. So this reference and statistics taken from the research and markets. So if you can see, we expect that the recovery of the fashion industry will happen sometimes in 2023. So what are we doing at this point of time? So this time, as we said, this is the time that we have to source out everything in terms of creations, creativity, and exposure to a lot of opportunity like Fashion Week, Digital Fashion Week, um, connections in all the platform that you can able to showcase your collections and your design. So while we're waiting for uh, the the conditions of the market and even the situation around the globe, so we are now building up our connections, our reserve creations. Okay, so let's proceed. So 71% of fashion experts project a 20% or more growth in online business in 2021, which is now really happening. So a lot of businesses now are inclined to online uh, business. Okay, so during the pandemic, digital adoption happened in a flash. Some businesses were quick in pivoting their strategies to fit the online market. Fashion brands that were able to adapt to the abrupt change in demands are most likely to stay in the game, as the rest are closing down. Fashion industry sales statistics state that brands with digital channels will gain at least 20% revenue this year. So if you are into digital business or online business, now you can, like if you have the retail business, now you can subject your business on online. Okay, so let's proceed. So while during the pandemic, I was able to create a fashionable PPE suit, which is made of microfiber. So this trends that I presented for 2021 up to the present, because this is our current situation and state. So everyone should wear a fashionable PPE suit to protect us against the virus. So now there is notions that people around the globe are wearing the regular PPE suit, which looks like an astronaut's. So every time that the people will see all those kind of suit, they felt like they're the carrier of the virus. So that's the fear that we have injected with the people by the clothes that we wear. So now I was able to create something that is more fashionable, and at the same time it can be worn in everyday clothing, and also at the same time can be a sportswear. It can be a workwear, outerwear, so something like that. So if you'll see in my video and a picture here, so it's fun. So you with the way you wear it, you will forget that you are in the midst of the current situation. We are in the pandemic situation. So if you wear something like this, it's so fun, it's so enjoyable, so people attracts more, especially it has a psychological effect. When you wear it, you don't feel like you are depressed because of the happy colors that you're wearing. And at the same time, as what we said, that mental health is very important in our condition. So when we see colors, it helps us also to motivate our conditions to work, and at the same time to move on to whatever situation that we have. So now I'm gonna show you a video clips of this PPE collection that is shown around the world. Okay, so let's proceed to another topic that I'm going to discuss is the sustainable global fashion. So sustainable global fashion, actually, we're doing it already a long time ago, but we're not focused on it because I don't know what reason behind all of this. But what I'm sure now, at this present state that we have, I think we're pushing through with our sustainable global fashion. We have to understand how important sustainable global fashion it is. So I have here um, um, a cycle. Of, let's go back again. Okay, we have here a cycle. Yeah, there. The cycle here. I have four cycle. The conscious fashion, which is eco-friendly and green. Circular fashion, which is upcycled and recyclable. Slow fashion, which is thrifting, swapping, and renting. Ethical fashion, which is vegan and cruelty free. So I would like to explain, plain further, which what is conscious fashion. Conscious fashion is eco-friendly and green, which is if if you are supporting that this kind of fashion, so which means that you have to support those designers or brands that really cater for eco-friendly and green collections or designs. So it's so important that we carry those kind of brand because we're helping our nature. Okay. And then next one is the circular fashion. Circular fashion, which means upcycle and recyclable. Especially now, people doesn't really want to spend so much. So they have, if you are a creative person now, if you are a designer, you really have to create something that you can recycle. Um, like there's a lot of design creativity that you can create by recycling materials, recycling all your old clothes, even all your old denims to come up with like different designs from there. So you don't really have to spend. All you have to do is recreate or reinvent your design process. And then next is slow fashion. Slow fashion means thrifting, swapping, and renting. This is also in now because people doesn't want to spend also much, and at the same time, there's no event really going on around the world, so around the globe. So people are just like they have their old stock, old gowns, old clothes that they can show even online that they can sell it or have it rented out, but we should also be careful about renting out because might be caught with a virus with somebody who's gonna wear that. So I think we should be careful about that. But that is also one um, idea that you can work on to sustain the fashion. Okay, and then now next is the ethical fashion, which is vegan and cruelty free. So this one we have to understand that some materials are made of organic. So these are materials that we should also support because it supports our farmers, it supports our industry as well, and even our environment. It helps because it doesn't destroy our planets. Okay, so these are designers, and you see in our PowerPoint here, we have different designers, brands that carries the sustainable global fashion, and that headed by Stella McCartney and Vivian Westwood. So I'll show you some designs of Stella McCartney. So how do you find it, and uh, how does sustainable fashion um, there in her collection? Okay. And then here's Vivian Westwood, Fall 2021. So if you'll see, their collection has been recycled and made in different mix up. So they're just mixing up with new and old, vintage and everything. So it's recyclable. So this is how Vivian and Stella create and showcase their collection. So this one, I remember I had this also. Since I am supporting the sustainable fashion, so I have a collection created for Fashion Week Brooklyn that it says "Don't kill birds to create a fashion." So I was able to create a collection that is made of materials of embroidery. That the design of the embroidery is based on the feathers. So instead of killing a bird to create a fashion, I create an embroidery to put it on my collection, to infuse it in my collection. So it gives us as the visual that it's like a bird's feather. See, so you don't really have to kill any animals to create your fashion because it's cruel to our animals, and then we violate animals' rights as well. So another sustainable global fashion promotes eco-friendly environment. So 50% of consumers want the fashion industry to be more sustainable. Out of 2,000 respondents from the US and UK, more than half declared that they want the fashion industry to be more sustainable. Moreover, the concept of retail sustainability is a little higher in men at 55% than women at 50%. Why? If you'll see, men can always repeat their clothes. They're not into fashion conscious that much. So the sustainability is higher than the women. Unlike women, they would always want to have new clothes. That's why every now and then, every season, they would change their wardrobe. Okay, so again, in the picture, one of my collection is supporting also an eco-friendly environment movement. So I create here, I use eco-friendly material, which is the piña, the pineapple fiber, made of pineapple fiber. And the patches that you see is also a recyclable materials from all my scrap materials from the shop. Okay, so you'll see all those work that creates a design. So this is how you work. This is how we be more creative. So another one, by product materials, the organic segment is projected to have the fastest growth at 16.2%. The ethical fashion market is divided into four segments: product, type, end user, and geography. Sustainable products can either be organic, man-made, or regenerated, natural, and recycled. Among the four, the fashion industry revenue for the organic segment will demonstrate the fastest growth at 16.2%. This implies that the fashion market will use more organic alternatives to produce clothes like wool or silk. So if you understand here that now organic materials are fast moving. Okay, so there's a lot of brands that are using a lot of organic materials, which really promotes eco-friendly environment. So again, I'm encouraging everyone, all the designers, creative people, let's support this kind of movement, the eco-friendly environment, the sustainable global fashion. So fashion industry advertising statistics share that 32% of consumers prefer to pay more sustainable clothing. Not only is sustainable fashion good for the environment, but some fashion brands are capitalize the concept as part of their marketing to get more supporters. That's true. Actually, if you put it in your brand that this material is made of organic, people would love and consider those two item or designs to buy because there is support and help to be eco-friendly, right? So today, approximately 3 out of 10 consumers would rather pay more for sustainable clothes from ethical brands. On top of this, 43% of consumers want fashion brands to be more aggressive in marketing or showing sustainable products. So now, why am I be pushy about sustainable global fashion. Why? Because there is really a negative impact in terms of the using of different materials, using fabric that is not organic, that is not sustainable. Okay, so what are those negative impact? Number one is food insecurity. Why? Because every time that our scrap materials that which has chemical contents, and then once you throw it away, and once you throw it away in the land and in the sea, it will affect our environment, and that cause a lot of troubles and destructions in our plants, in our fisheries, in our ocean. So these are, and then it affects the food that we eat, right? So the growth of our plantations, our vegetations, our fruits, it affects also the nutritional value of every food. Okay, and then air pollution. Remember that every time that we burn those material, it because of the chemical content of the material, it affects our air. Okay, and then habitat destruction. So, like for example, there are factories who are making a lot of clothing, fabric, textile, and then they throw it in the ocean, wherever whatever place that they want to put it in. They throw it away, and then it affects our habitat. There are animals, any insects, you know, and then human rights abuses. Okay, and then resources depletion. That every time that we use those apparel that is made the apparel industry, it depletes our resources because we took away whatever resources that we have. Okay, and then climate change because of the pollutions that we have. Then animal suffering because we're killing all those animals to create our fashion, and then water pollution. So these are the effect of the apparel industry. If we're gonna push through what we think that is not right, right? So if we push the sustainable global fashion and help our industry, I think we will have a better planet to live in the future, so that our generation will enjoy still whatever our creator give to us. So I here is a video clips also of my collection that is inspired from animal birds in Africa. Diyan, diyan, diyan. Okay, so that's my collection in Fashion Week Brooklyn. So let's proceed to the next topic, which is the fashion forecast for spring summer 2022. Why I um, included this in my topic for today, because I believe that people should know what's going to happen and what would be the trend for 2022, since we are now 2021. So 2022 is fast approaching. So we should take a look at what's going to happen and what are we going to prepare, especially for all the students. Okay, so number one is the rebirth. The trend is about looking to nature, connecting to natural cycles, spirituality, and indigenous wisdom as a form of escapism from life in lockdown. So if you can see, most of the countries has been experiencing lockdown. So from there, we came out with the idea what's gonna happen and what collection we can prepare from there. So natural cycles, spirituality, and indigenous wisdom. So the trend is dominated by nature, infused colors such as dark browns, refreshing greens, and honey oranges. So the next one is essential. The pandemic has offered us a moment of pause to explore the idea of less is better as we rediscover a love for creating our own food and other products. This is reflected in the trend through handmade and purpose garments made from dead stocks or recycled materials, as crafting becomes a type of therapy as we look to reuse what we already have instead of adding to mountains of waste. Materials include linen, blends, hand-woven leathers, double weaves, among others. The color palette again features a lot of natural raw tones, including a nutrient-infused grouping of pinks as well as purples, browns, and root greens. So you can see these are very essential. So as you said here, you to add more mountains of trash. So instead of throwing them away, keep them, recycle them, use them, reinvent them, and create them for a purpose that you can wear it. So after the lockdown, you can be more fashionable and trendy on 2022. So another one is nourish. Wellness is now at the center of everything to do, and that is reflected in fashions. Of course, very important that we should be healthy, right? So if you are healthy, we can fight the virus. We can fight the conditions that we have. So we have to be mentally healthy and emotionally healthy, physically healthy, and spiritually healthy. So with the collections that we have for 2022, it reflects how healthy we are despite of the situations that we're going through. That means that we were able to eat good food, sleep at the right time. So this all reflect in us as we create our next line, next collection. So the key features to these trends are sensual curves, rounded shapes, and minimalism. Materials used are clean and comfortable, including untreated leathers and organic fibers. Recycled post-consumer plastics are also important. The color palette is soothing and effervescent, with an array of off-kilter pastels that are calming without being overly sweet and sugary, while vibrant pops balance the softness and acidity. There are also a series of warm, rich that grounds the palettes. So next forecast will be liberate. It comes as many people look to art as a new way to express and share creativity during lockdown. So I have friends who are now into divert themselves in painting, in drawings, in other form to express their creativity. Somehow, some people are into plantitos, plantitas. You call it as farming. Farm in their own little backyard. So that these are expressing their own creativity, expressing their own uh, feelings at the moment. And this palette is polarized with energized neon brights, cool, futurist digital neons, orange tinted reds, and pink infused shades. So these are the things that we have to consider. So if you are not doing anything, you paint all your clothes, all your denims using acrylic or fabric textile paint. So paint all of them and then create something from there. Okay, so now this is it. So how to be a competitive global fashion designer. So fashion design is very competitive market. It has very if we have a small people uh, population, creative people in the industry, we're small, but it's very competitive because a lot of designers are very creative, very resourceful, industrious. So and there's also at the same time competitive. So enable for you to penetrate the international market, you have to have these qualities. Okay, you have to have these qualities to qualify and penetrate the global market. So number one is you should be creative and artistic. Okay, so a very important. Number one is strong visualization. You have to have a strong visualization. The colors, everything that speak about visuals. Okay, so you should know the lines and how you coordinate them, how you balance colors and lines, the perspective, everything. You should have those kind of strong uh, style visuals. Okay, next is sense of style. This is also important because now styling is so important. How you mix match, how you coordinate together your designs from vintage to new, and then also how you create styles like how you can make avant-garde, you can create couture lines. So those are things that you have to have, sense of style. Letter C is detailed oriented. What is detail oriented? It means that you are very meticulous in terms of the detailing, like the colors, the collar, the pockets, the sewing, the quality. So you must be keen to details. So this is the very important. Sometimes people they don't really look at the outside appearance of the clothes. They will start looking at the inside of the garment if the garment finish is well made. So we should always consider all those things, to be globally competitive with others. Okay, next is skills. Skills is very important. Before when that During my time when I started my designing, you just know how to draw, then you're already a designer. But now it's no longer that way. You should have the skills. You should know the technical. And what is the technical? You should know how to do the pattern and sewing, and why do you have to learn all these things? Because sometimes we handle people, we work with people, and sometimes they don't like to work. So you are dependent on other people, like you are dependent to your sewers. Now if you are dependent to them, if you don't know how to sew, then there will be no business, right? So if you know all those technical aspect of designing, so it would be important because you are self-reliant. Okay, and then next is computer CAD. So because now we are in the digital age, so important that even in our presentation, even in our design, it's all computer aided. So you must be computer literate. Next is knowledgeable of current fashion trend and forecast. So again, you should be updated. You should be update yourself. You should do your research. What's going to happen in the next season, in the next year? So we are really blessed because we can see a lot of um, we can Google it. We can, unlike before, you still have to buy them. Catalogs, the magazine, and you're really going to spend a lot from resources. But unlike now, there's a lot of opportunity where you can browse and look at in the internet. So be knowledgeable in terms of the current fashion trends and forecasts. But remember, there are also designers who are, we call it heritage designers. Who are these heritage designers? They are Coco Chanel, Christian Dior, and they're the one who impose, dictate what fashion's gonna happen for the next season. So they're the ones, the guru. They're the ones we look up to in terms of forecasts. Okay, and then next is good business sense. It's really important that it's not all about creativity. We should also, at the end of the day, that our creation should sell. Okay, it's not all about okay, I create, then after that nobody will buy. So we should have that sense of business. Important is how you're going to market yourself. Marketing is very important. That's the key to you to balance between creations and business. And you also have to learn how to manage your business, manage people. So these are very important. If you really want to penetrate the global market, then you have to have a business sense. How you deal with exporters, how you deal with the buyers. So these are very important. How you do your pricing, costing, and everything. You should learn and should know all of these things. Next is collaborative. This is very important. How we're going to work with people, how we collaborate with different uh, practitioners. So those are important things. And next is competitive. We should be competitive. That's why we call it, our title is How to Be Competitive Global Fashion Design. So we have to be competitive. We should know also our competitors. So when we design something, create something, then we should know what to design that is not um, the same as they're doing. So you should create your own original designs, creations. So these are some of my sketches, my illustrations. So thank you so much for this wonderful time that you have given to me and an opportunity to share my knowledge about global fashion. Now I'm going to show you my collection, one of my collection.
John Guarnes' Holiday 2013 collection can be summed up as this: an emotional portrayal of midnight. Playing with different kinds of fabric to reflect the moods of the evening, his creations were pieces of art in lace, wool, linen, brocade, and tulle. Painted in the mysterious dark tones of rich blues, set against dark grays and blacks. His impressive technique and unique silhouettes captured the darkest hour of the night, from body-hugging and sexy to caped and classy. Bringing the audience to the witching hours, while at the same time telling a tale of sophisticated romance and powerful sensuality.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this time. I hope you learned a lot and I gave you enough knowledge for today.
It was a really wonderful session given by you, sir. Appreciation letter will be displayed as a token of love and appreciation from our side. Please do accept the appreciation letters.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. May I now call upon Ms. Amreen Shahab, Assistant Professor of Fashion and Design Department, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. On behalf of Dr. M.G.R Education and Research Institute, I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks for this international webinar organized by our institute. Our heartiest thanks to our Honorable President, Engineer A.C.S. Arun Kumar sir, for accepting our request. A special thanks to Vice Chancellor Dr. S. Gitalakshmi ma'am, our Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. Ravi Chandran sir, Provost Dr. G. Gopalakrishnan sir, our Registrar Dr. C.B. Palanivelu sir. A special thanks to our Joint Register Phase II Dr. S. Ramalingam sir, Dr. S. Dean S. Manivannan sir, Deputy Dean Academics Phase II Dr. A.R. Arunachalam sir, and Deputy Dean Administration Phase II Professor K. Sindil Kumar sir, and all the HODs and staff members of various departments. A special thanks to our chief guest, Mr. John Guarnes, for sharing his knowledge. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank Ms. M. Mahmooda Begum, HOD of Fashion Design Department, and other team members, Ms. M. Nandini Kutti, Dr. P. Harshini, Mr. Ganesh Babu, for their support in completion of the event. I would like to thank all the participants for participating in this program.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, like as told earlier, we do offer BSc and MSc Fashion Design courses. So, candidates who wish to be part of our adventures, do apply for the course on our website. So, website link will be provided. For more updates, do follow our page on Instagram and Facebook. So, the feedback link is already posted in the chat box. So I hope you all enjoyed today's session. I am thanking you all on behalf of our department. There are many upcoming events, so please stay tuned. So please stay tuned for the next event, and it's Nandini signing.
It's a great day, I'm feeling good. Oh, the possibilities of what I could, do with the world at my fingertips. My imagination brings a smile up to my lips. Oh, fascinated, I'm moving fast. Oh, I'm optimistic as the days go past. Oh, opportunity is here for me, so come along and take a look, because I want you to see. The world is yours, look a little bit closer. If you want it, come and get it. You can take it over, you can make your tomorrows what you want them to be. You got the power in your hands to shape your history. We're going up, 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 and up, up, up. We're going up, 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 and up, up, up. We're going up.
Dr. M.G.R Educational and Research Institute, University, Mother of all Chennai.